Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Resident Evil 5. Let's organize. We just fought a boss and we are at the kind of midpoint of the game. We need as much gold as we have. Starting off, before we sell anything, we have 3,350. Once we come and sell the diamonds we found and other items we found, we'll probably have about 10,000, it seems. I was hoping that that would be a little bit higher. You can see there's a whole pear shape, and then square shape, and then marquee shape of types of things. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to upgrade everything before we do anything with capacity once. Because I have no bullets. And this is the way that I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't even realize this is the system to get more bullets. And that's not going to help us in the longest of runs. But it will help us a little bit now. So this is a semi-auto rifle, which probably means I should sell this rifle. Like, I don't think I've upgraded this too much. Well, I have, so I might as well upgrade it again. Should I give this one capacity upgrade? Not right now. Also, we need to go ahead and sell this for, well, it's only worth 30. I thought these were worth a lot more. Interesting. I guess we'll use the proximity bomb quickly then before we start. And before we upgrade anything else, let's ask this question. Like, proximity bombs are 1,500 if you want to buy them, but they're only worth 10. Melee vest, I don't see a real reason to buy a melee vest. So, you may notice that each character is getting slightly different types of weapons. And the next thing to do is to just let Sheva do as much damage as possible. I don't have enough to upgrade that. I can't upgrade anything else. Like with the handgun in particular, because that's gonna prove to be, that's really the only weapon she uses. How much do I have? I have 850, so I could increase the capacity one more time. And if I was going to do that, I might as well increase the capacity here. And then, and I probably made a mistake buying this melee attack vest for 10,000. That money could have been spent somewhere else easily. And I think we're ready to go. But because we're in the middle section here, the game goes a little weird.
Yes, but there will be other opportunities.
Another nice cutscene. I really do suspect that at some point this was just going to be a movie. There's a lot of cutscenes that would have still had to been made. We're rejoining Delta Team, but first we get attacked by these biker gang people, and we just play with this is a on-rail shooter with some quick time events. Your partner is shooting, you're shooting, and the thing.
What does all this have to do with Ouroboros? You go to him. Looks like the only way we're getting
Like, we took a little bit of damage there from them throwing Molotov cocktails. So, we went from having no bullets to having infinite bullets. Even the game can tell that we needed a break after fighting that boss. Nice falling action in a different form. It's not really falling action, but it's different action. I can't turn any further to the left, so...
That won't even scratch the paint.
I don't think there's an achievement or anything for doing this without taking damage. These zombies kind of come out of nowhere. I assume they're driving from further left and right, where I can't see. There's no collectibles. This really is just an experiment in QuickTime events, pressing many different buttons. Of course, it's worth mentioning and remembering that this is one of those games that, like Resident Evil 4, that was released on many consoles, so the button prompts would have changed quite a bit. RE4 came out on the GameCube originally, I believe, and then the Wii and the Wii U probably too, and the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 and PC, just to name the ones off the top of my head. My health is at 50%.
There's no getting past that truck unless you two do something about it.
Did I just die? No. That's funny. That felt like I just died. This is a way for the story also to continue and the timing to move forward, because we've gone from it being bright daytime to now it's foggy nighttime. But a game like this that's just a pure action flick, you're not gonna like hit some really spooky bad guys. At worst, what you're gonna do is you're gonna be frustrated by a lack of visibility. And they're using the same 5 or 6 models for enemies, but it's not too bad. Even modern games kind of have that problem of repeating the same character models. I don't know if there is a zombie game out there that has custom zombie creation or custom character creation. So we went from the port town down some road to a different town, or we've gone full circle and we're back in the city that we started in. You can definitely see how you could have rearranged a lot of these levels to be more linear. Like they almost certainly started with a town section, an underground section, a shipping yard section, and they chopped those things up.
Look out!
Now, I said last time that the enemy we were fighting wasn't as cool as the Gargantua. Well, here we have a Gargantua to fight. Although we don't fight them as much as you would in RE4. But it's a nice callback. I don't believe Chris Redfield ever fought one of these before. Although, it's possible it did happen off screen. Like, in theory, nobody would have been nobody except for Leon Kennedy would have fought these characters before. So you can hit them straight in the face, but once you knock them back, you might want to cool off a little bit.
Look, there's something coming out of it. We should try aiming at those.
And see, he is a full-up Resident Evil 4 Las Plagas character.
Something's wrong with him. Watch out!
Is about to attack. And I've overheated. Now, if you were Leon Kennedy, what you would do is you'd run up and knife this character as much as possible to save on bullets and to do the most amount of damage. Doesn't quite work in this game. This feels very much like a demo section that was made early on in the programming when they were still looking for a system to use. Gotta let this thing cool down. So you can't just hold the gun. And even in like an infinite ammo mode, if that is something you can unlock, I don't think you'd be able to use this the full time. Hold down the trigger for the full time. But it's not really necessary. This is also a weapon that won't ever be upgraded. So in a second or third playthrough, you're still going to have to go through the sequence. I overheated. Not true, but we don't want to take damage. This is very sequence based. You gotta figure out the pattern and fight against it. Try to use as much of this as possible. Third time's a charm. But it is worth pointing out that everybody else in this area are some kind of evolved new version of Las Plagas, if that's what they are at all. They're not just the same characters. The zombies are not the same zombies from RE4. And it seems kind of strange that they didn't try to turn any of these at people.
You, Josh.
Now we're trying to save Josh. Or find Joss.
You don't have to do this. You can still back out.
What about you?
I've got a personal stake in this.
A personal stake? Chris, look around. We should both get the hell out of here.
I'm not
She's
here for
right.
submission.
What are you talking about?
A while back, I received some intel that my old partner was still alive. At first, I didn't know what to think. But when I saw the data file from Delta Team, I knew for sure. Jill is still alive.
She doesn't know who Jill is,
That's
other
not in
than...
the data file. Are you even sure it's the same person?
We were partners. I'm sure.
Wait.
So you can kind of see the
I'm not going alone.
reason why Chris wouldn't want to partner with somebody new
Chris, wait.
I don't have much time. I have to find her.
throughout this whole game.
I'm going with you. These are my people that are dying here.
Are you sure about this? A second ago, you were ready to cut and run.
I can't just turn my back and walk away.
There are
Yep.
no more
This
borders
is
from here on in.
midpoint
Us.
dialogue.
Partners. To the end. Now let's get moving.
Here's the flaw in this idea, though, is like, I would not, even if I was Chris Redfield, I would not want to be alone in this scenario. We've played the whole game with saving each other and shooting zombies that are sneaking up behind the other one. Sadly, I don't believe there is a boat section like there is in RE4. Not quite like it. We can view the Mangini file in the library. Still trying to send Dave there. So an A plus accuracy at 64.7%, not bad. 49 enemies routed, 0 deaths, and doing that entire chapter in less than 8 minutes gave me S's on everything except for accuracy, which gives me an S rank on chapter 2-3. And don't worry, if you want to get S rank on everything, I do believe you can go back and play chapters separate of each other. So what can we buy now? There is a 4000 HK P8 versus the M92, and it has a higher reload speed, and I believe it starts at 140 on damage, where this starts at 1.5, so it's one. So I think it does. I don't know. Looking at it, it seems like the major difference between this gun is it has piercing, where this game has critical damage. So that might not even be worth purchasing. Or you could get the stun rod, which is a incredibly terrible weapon, and I think there was like an achievement for playing it with it, and that's it. On the Xbox 360 version, which would have been the version I played. We got no treasures. This wouldn't be the first time I would have had the opportunity to organize anything. What do these sell for? 100? And I can't put them in the inventory. The inventory itself might have been added later on. And we only have 350, so there's nothing else that I can upgrade. So we just have to move forward. That after this point that we just did, you're not in an Africa so much anymore. You're in these oil field marshlands, which seems like slightly more Louisiana-ish than Africa.
The Raccoon City incident on Rockford Island. Since then, we've been trying to track him down.
See,
and a few years ago, we got a tip from
I don't believe this sequence happened in any games.
Founder Oswell E. Spencer. So we paid him a visit, hoping he'd lead us to Wesker.
And they just killed the founder of Umbrella. And this is the Wesker that caused one of the Resident Evil movies to be completely ridiculous. Because he can move so fast and he's super strong. He's been genetically altering himself with different strands of Las Plagas and the zombie virus. Wesker really was a great villain to have. Of course, the question is, since he didn't show up in Resident Evil 7, he may never show up again. He did show up, I believe, in RE6. I think he did. Honestly, there could be clones of Wesker all over the place, though. So Jill heroically jumps out the window and saves her.
Jill's body was never found and she was presumed dead. The person I saw in that data looked like her. I have to know if she's still alive.
You two were close.
Why not play that section at the beginning of the game, though?
Why'd you join the BSAA?
Like,
My parents
I
were
would
involved in an accident
totally...
caused by a pharmaceutical company
I would
in
totally want to play that section. Fight Wesker, having abilities, make it just a bunch of quick time events, or even if you couldn't, make it playable, show that cutscene at the beginning.
Bioweapons were responsible for the deaths of my parents, and someone has to pay for that.
This is weird because that puts the timeline of when bioweapons were developed to like 70s or 60s. If you say Sheva was 30 years old right now, and this was in 1995 or so, it does mean bioweapons were developed really, really early in a timeline, and this world is more divergent from the real world, where we don't have things you would classify as bioweapons like they do. This section is really strange. Like, and I think it's fair to say that this... No, you give me that and don't.
Give me an herb.
Are you okay?
Yeah, you can't even stop her, can you? I really have to chalk this one up to just Japanese ignorance again. Like tribes in huts. We're getting back to being racist stereotypes. Marshlands in the middle of spears and shields. This PDA has an unsent message. Schedule report. Let's just pretend like we're gonna read that. A beetle. A new thing to collect. And a beast slate. In Resident Evil 4 you had a key that was a multi-part key, and everything in this game really is just a copy of RE4. It's a slightly worse version of RE4, but it runs, at least. We don't have that hitching problem on PC, so I can only assume that what the case is that this was the introduction of a new engine, and while there are some fan projects trying to remaster RE4 for higher textures, without the support of Capcom funding translating this into a new engine a newer, better engine would. It's never going to happen, and that probably isn't ever going to happen. I do believe there is a, let's see. I can't hit this because I can't get out of the car, but there is a thing there, and I think she will target it. I just have to kind of wait and hope she gets close enough. How does this work? Maybe you have to play this as a two-player game. That would kind of suck, wouldn't it? So there's a barrier wall here, and then we maneuver ourselves in here. I believe there's some pickup items that can also be gotten, and I believe there's some alligators that we can also have to deal with. The map's a little off, a little wonky. Feels wonky at least, but at least you have a map. So each one of these is a transversal thing, and we're going to you're mostly just gonna run. So you see the alligators, crocodiles, you're gonna want to avoid them. If we see anything worth picking up, we're gonna want to get it. Anything flashy? Nope. How is an interesting question. I'm gonna send her back to cover play so she doesn't waste all my bullets.
Use this. Come on, Roger.
There you go.
Take it, Roger. You grab it, Roger.
She'll use that egg on me, almost certainly.
Okay.
How can I already be in a... You give me that?
I owe you one.
I'll take
I need
this.
ammo.
Use this. I owe you one.
Yeah, I think I was also going to switch around my machine gun, but I failed to do that. There might be a... I think there actually is a crystal medallion to hit over there. These guys are just gonna... Any opportunity to punch these guys and kill them. and see. I don't think I need to break masks off the ground, off the wall or anything. And now we have another piece. And I believe all the pieces will just automatically connect. Shooting fish doesn't do anything. In RE4 you would have been able to pick up the fish and use them as a health thing. Sounds like there's a snake somewhere around. But it's probably not worth the effort to try and find that snake and shoot it. Well, it's been another 30 minutes and not a ton has happened. This is the falling action of the game. It's a little bit weird because we get into the marshlands and then I would say they kind of learn their lesson and we get away from the tribal stuff and we end up in, spoiler alert, a facility. And once you're in that facility, you kind of forget you're in Africa at all. It feels so different. At any point in this game, they could have flown us to a different place, and that would have been fine. Like, if this was the Bayou of Louisiana, which, ironically, Resident Evil 7 is set in the Bayou of New Orleans or Louisiana, Mississippi, that would have been totally acceptable. Since this was at least at the beginning, some kind of procedural investigation, we could have gone anyway and done anything. We could have been back in that Spanish city, and that would have been really genius. Like, at the halfway point in the game, just having people play a large portion of what was in Resident Evil 4. If you moved some stuff around and changed the pathing a little bit, that would have worked fine, and it would have been really good to save some money on development. Anyways, like I said, it's been 30 minutes. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.